Come join me on my latest obsession, coffee shops. Though Taiwan is renowned for its tea, it's also no stranger to coffee. This trip, we're visiting 5 coffee shops in Taipei and 1 in Taichung, in search of our new favorite spot to get the old bean juice. Let's get started. Our first stop is out-of-office coffee roastery in the Da'an district, aptly named for someone who was playing hooky and actively trying to avoid work. The space inside was laid back and cozy, with a communal table in the center, small tables off to the side, a plushy couch, and a couple seats at the bar. They have a wide selection of pour-over coffees and espresso, and some craft beer, but it was 10 in the morning and I'm not that much of a degenerate, I hope. I went with a flaky, warm croissant and a pour-over of the Nicaraguan Mamamita beans, cause my, how could I resist you? Overall, loved the vibes and it was a great intro for someone who is trying to learn to appreciate coffee. And if you're lucky, you can even catch them roasting a new batch of beans. Definitely would come back. Next up is Coffee Lovers Planet, located in the Dunhua SOGO department store. Walking in, you're immediately launched to a different planet, with a huge variety of contraptions and equipment that give you PTSD from stressing over chemistry lab in college. They also had these perfume devices that you could squeeze to smell each of the coffee beans. After a good nose workout, you can choose which coffee beans you want, as well as your preferred brewing method such as a drip master, siphon, pour over, French press, ice brewed, water drip, or espresso. There's also a flavor wheel to help you choose what kind of coffee you want, whether it's fruity, floral, sweet, etc. After the longest period of decision paralysis, we settled down and got one of the breakfast sets, which had bacon, asparagus, and a poached egg perched on toast. There was a small forest's worth of asparagus with a nice runny yolk, and it's always fun to construct your perfect bite. With that, I got a cappuccino, with some latte art that resembled a Rorschach test. I think it's a laurel crown, or maybe a lemur with a bushy tail. Anyways, the beans were a single origin Yirgacheffe from Ethiopia. One thing I really like about this place is that they always provide a small shot glass of ground coffee for you to smell, which is really considerate. We also got a breakfast set with yogurt and jam and buttered toast you could play Connect 4 on. Since we stayed pretty close to Coffee Lovers Planet, we came back again. This time, I got a floral blend coffee using a siphon, which was like getting coffee with a show. I'm still an utter novice when it comes to tasting coffee and finding the notes, but the card it came with said there should be hints of jasmine, honey lemon, and peach. It did have a floral scent, I think, and I enjoyed it. It went well with a buttery scone and lemon-using marmalade that would have made Paddington proud. And we got a shrimp avocado strawberry salad that honestly tasted better than it sounds. When we visit next time, I'll probably just stick to the coffee, but it's a great one-stop shop for all your home brewing needs. This is VWI by an absolute CHADWANG, a quick hop, skip, and a jump from the Zhongxiao Fuxing metro station. VWI stands for vapor, water, and ice, the three states of matter for what they emphasize as the most important component of coffee, the water. They've forgotten about plasma and Bose-Einstein condensates, but I'll give them a pass this time. This was the first coffee shop we went to in the evening, so it was perfect for some pre-dinner dessert. The chocolate basque cheesecake by Terra was smooth and creamy, and came with some caramel and cacao nibs for texture. My favorite part was the stratigraphy of the cake and being able to observe the strata of basque and chocolate. That's for you geology folks out there. To go with the cake, we also got a cappuccino and a pour-over with some Costa Rican beans called catura. I wanted to chug straight from the carafe, but in an effort to appear more civilized, poured it into the small glass instead. The coffee was fruity and light, and almost felt like I was drinking tea. This was another solid coffee shop, and I would love to come back to try more of their desserts. And here's the proof that we did enjoy the food and coffee. We took the high-speed rail down to Taichung for our next coffee shop, Coffee Stopover. Tucked away in the West District behind a wall of potted plants, this coffee shop felt like the definition of organized chaos, with a relatively tight space for all the baristas, customers, beans, and equipment that were on the premises. If you like customization, this is the place for you. You can choose from a selection of single origin or house blend beans, how you want it brewed, and even the coffee dripper style. I went with the Dobber blend, which is a medium dark roast with beans from Ethiopia, Sidama, Salvador, and Peru, and got it as a regular and ice shaken espresso. The espresso was wild, and you could taste the technique that went into it. There was no milk, yet it was creamy and smooth. The ice shaken espresso was a great contrast and demonstration of how the physics of coffee can affect its taste and make it light and refreshing. We also got the Dancer Mojito, their caffeinated take on the cocktail and the most innovative drink I've seen. It was made using two types of coffee beans with one layered on top of the other, and had two different straws so you could switch between the two blends. They also have an upstairs area that had lots of natural lighting and was much more spacious to maybe get a little work done. After the coffee is the customary tour of the gift shop. There were bags of all the beans they offered, as well as holy moly, that is a comical amount of coffee drippers. Anyways, they had some magazines, stickers, kettles, balances, cups, the whole shebang. Coffee Stopover is the type of place I wish I lived near, so I could stop by more regularly to try all the combinatorics of beans and brew methods. But alas, until next time. We're back in Taipei, and our next stop is Simple Kaffa. They've got a couple locations across the city, but we went to their Huashan flagship store. Stepping inside, you can tell that this place runs like a well-oiled espresso machine, and all the baristas were extremely dedicated to their craft. Simple Kaffa is one of the highest award-winning coffee shops in Taipei, and it's extremely apparent. I mean, just look at all these trophies. They probably won't notice a couple missing. We went upstairs to grab our seats, where we could look down and spy on everyone. I really wanted to taste everything, so we tried to diversify our order as much as possible. First up, the cortado. Cortados are usually my go-to coffee drink when I want to taste the coffee, but still need a little milk to sweeten it up a touch. Next, the whiskey latte, cause it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It was perfectly balanced, as all things should be. We also got the caprese salad, which had tomatoes, mozzarella, balsamic vinegar, oil, and bread. Not even kidding, this was one of the best bites I had on this entire trip. It almost feels unfair how good it tasted despite the simplicity of the ingredients and minimal amount of quote-unquote cooking that was required. Of course we had to get a pour-over to get the coffee trifecta. And for breakfast dessert, a matcha roll cake. You could actually taste the different flavors of the 2 types of cream in the cake, and I just wish there was more of it. Looking through their wares, I thought about buying some of their cups before leaving, but ended up deciding against it. If you check this place out, which you definitely should, make sure to come early since lines form really quickly. Our last stop is Twin Brothers Coffee, which is just a couple minutes walk from Taipei main station. This place was hopping when we visited, but fortunately, we boxed out the competition and found a table right after ordering. I got a flat white, and together we shared a warm, gooey cinnamon roll with walnuts, a classic cannelé, and finally, an apple tart. The layers on the cinnamon roll were hypnotic, and I wish there was some cream cheese frosting, but that's just my American sweet tooth talking. Also, look at the rise on that dough. The cannelé was absolutely textbook, crispy exterior with a custardy interior, no notes. And for the apple tart, the tartness of the apples balanced the sweetness well, though the texture of the cinnamon mixture was a little gritty. I've never seen a meringue on an apple tart before, but I like the smoky flavor it added. All in all, Twin Brothers felt like the kind of place I'd stop by with friends after school to catch up over some coffee and sweets. Throughout the trip, I think every single coffee shop was worth visiting. As a coffee newbie, it was an educational journey, and it was moving to see that third wave coffee culture is flourishing in Taiwan. If I had to pick my absolute favorites from the trip, it would have to be a tie between Coffee Stopover and Simple Kaffa. The level of dedication and intention that went into all of their choices, from decor to beans to technique to vibes, was just a step above the others. There are still so many coffee shops on my list I didn't get the chance to visit, and I'm already looking forward to the next time I'm back to tour them all. Until then, peace out.